Welcome to the channel. This is Michael with Copy Nerds. You can find us at copynerds.com. In this video, we're going to be installing PrintAnyWay Core. Let's get started. I'm going to assume you've already downloaded the PrintAnyWay installer. If you already have a standalone SQL or SQL server, you do not need to download anything. But for most people, you're going to need to download like SQL Express. So let's run a search for SQL Express. We're going to go ahead and go to Microsoft's Downloads. Go down to Express, choose Download Now. This instance, we're using 2022 SQL Express. Before we go ahead and install SQL, let's go ahead and search for features. We're going to turn on Windows features. And the first thing we're going to go to is turn on IIS, Internet Information Services. We're going to check the .NET Framework 3.5. Then under .NET Framework 4.8, we're going to check everything and hit OK. If you've not installed .NET Framework 3.5 before, it's going to go ahead and ask to download those files. If you're going to be installing this on a computer that doesn't have very good internet service, you may want to go ahead and download the .NET 3.5 offline installer separately and install that first. Now that those changes have been made and the .NET frameworks have been installed and updated, let's go ahead and go to Downloads. And then we're going to run that SQL installer. Go ahead and choose Yes. Let's select Basic. We'll select Accept, then Install. I'm going ahead and speeding this up significantly to save time. Now that SQL Express is installed, we're going to go ahead and choose Close. Yes, I'm sure we want to exit. Back in the Downloads folder, we're going to run the PrintAnyWay version 4.0 installer. Go ahead and choose More Info, and then Run Anyway. Then choose Yes to run the application. Now let's walk through the installation process. Choose Next. PrintAnyWay 4 comes bundled with .NET version 5, so let's go ahead and choose Yes on that. And then I agree and install. Go ahead and choose Close. Let's continue with the installation by choosing Next, then agreeing to the license agreement. Choose Next. Here you can select which language you want by default. I'm going to stick with English and choose Next. Then select Complete, and then choose Install. Once the installation is finished, let's go ahead and choose Finish. Then choose Yes to allow the Service Manager to run. If you're running SQL Express locally on the same box, just go ahead and do /SQL Express. If you're using a separate SQL server, this is where you go ahead and put that server name in and point it to the correct database. PrintAnyWay, like a lot of applications that rely on an SQL database, prefers to use a dedicated SQL account and not rely on a Windows user account. By default, PrintAnyWay will use the SA account, but in the Service Manager, you can change this later if you would like. To set the built-in SA account, choose Enable Mixed Mode Authentication, then choose Next. Here we would need either your Active Directory domain name, or if it's locally on a computer, we just need to use the computer name. To find that, we can choose the Windows logo, go to Settings, scroll all the way down to About, and here you can see under the device name, I'm using Paul Core. So we're going to copy the name and then paste that in as the domain. Then I'm going to type in my user account that I used to log in and the password that I used. Then choose Next. This tool allows us to set the SA password for SQL. This is a very important password to make sure that you know that you've written down and that you've saved. So let's go ahead and type that in and choose OK. Hit OK. Now type in that password, then choose Next. PrintAnyWay is now creating the SQL database, as well as installing the services and starting them for PrintAnyWay. Here's the PrintAnyWay Service Manager. Here's where you can make your changes for service authentication. You can enable or disable other services. We can go ahead and configure the database information, change that SA password is all done here, change the SQL user account. You can see the deeper dive into the Service Manager by choosing the PrintAnyWay Service Manager video. Let's go ahead and proceed to the local host. First page that pops up is where we can put in our serial number. So go ahead and type your serial number in. Then let's choose Next. Here's where you can put in your company or business name, organization, or school name. Then choose Register. The first time you log in, the username and password are both the same. They're PAWADMIN, PAWADMIN. Choose Login. The first time you log in, it's a very dark theme. You can actually switch that in the top between dark and light modes. Before I close out this video for the installation, which is now completed, the first thing I want to recommend is to go to Tables, then choose Users, and let's go to that admin account, and under PIN code is the password. Go ahead and change that because we don't want everyone to know it's PaulAdmin. Go ahead and set it to whatever you want. Make sure you choose Save, hit OK. This concludes the PrintAnyWay installation video. Please check out our other videos for features about PrintAnyWay that you need to know more about.